Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Brenda Lee's podcast. So, in this episode today, the topic is going to be stop holding grudges. I think it's so important that we learn the reasons and understand it better why we shouldn't live life holding grudges against people. Because some people can hold on to things against people for a very long time. But I don't think that we understand how unhealthy that can be and how much of an impact it can put on you as a person just by holding on to grudges. So that's what this topic is going to be about today. These are some ways how you can stop holding a grudge and move on. Holding a grudge can be harmful to your physical and mental health, but there are strategies you can try to help you move past your anger and hurt feelings. Holding a grudge happens when you can't let go of feelings of anger or resentment towards someone who wronged you. It can be in response to something that actually happened or a perceived threat or action against you. When you feel that someone's hurt you, it's difficult to move past it right away or ever. You may constantly think about that person or the incident, playing it over and over in your mind. Holding these negative feelings and ruminating on them can affect you physically and emotionally, but there are ways to help you let go of your grudges and move on. Holding grudges can often mean holding anger and stress, and a lot of anger and stress. On the other hand, low arousal positive emotions such as calmness and serenity were associated with decreased blood pressure and heart rate reactions has also been found to affect your mental health and effects of holding grudges. So I don't think many of you realize that there are mental health effects to everything, especially when it comes to things that we go through and deal with mentally wise. There is effects to everything. But I don't think we realize in the moment when we're going through these things that there are a lot of effects that come with it until you start experiencing it, So holding anger can lead to a range of challenges. According to a 2015 study, it can affect our relationships and lead to problems at work, home, and school. It can trigger violent and aggressive behaviors and have been associated with several mental health conditions such as anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, which is PTSD, personality disorders, panic disorders, and so much more. Why do we hold grudges is a really big thing. A lot of the time, it is a need for validation. So a lot of time, people do it to try to seek validation from people a lot of the time. Moral superiority, an inability to let go, latency, serving ties, or expectations of the future. And these are 5 tips to let go of grudges. If you're having trouble moving past lingering anger and resentment, you can learn how to stop holding a grudge, heal, and move on. Here are some strategies you can try that hopefully, I definitely believe can help a lot of you out for when you feel as though it's hard to let go of something or it's hard to move on from holding something against somebody. Because I know that that's not easy for everybody. Meditation has many science-based benefits, such as reducing stress, and it's supposed to help with reducing stress, managing anxiety, improving emotional health, and increasing self-awareness. These benefits can help you regulate your anger and stress while promoting calm and relaxation. A regular meditation practice may help you work out some of the emotions behind your grudge and overcome time, help make those feelings more manageable so it's not as difficult to deal with. And another big thing that I feel like a lot of you should really invest into that you can also do sometimes if you feel as though it is helpful to you or it works for you is you could journal sometimes. You don't know how many times throughout the day I make time to journal. I journal pretty much every day all the time. Even if it's just jotting down little things that I did throughout the day or that I did for the day, I take a little bit of time just to journal down my thoughts. I feel like we all can do that sometimes. It's nothing wrong with that. I feel like that's a great thing to do. Journaling can be a great way to work through your feelings, which it is. Getting your feelings out on paper can help take away some of their power. Try to write down everything that comes into your head about the other person. A journal is a safe space for you to let out your feelings and no one gets to see it but you. There's no time constraint to pressure with a journal. You can write it in as often or as little as you want. Over time, you may be able to process your feelings around the grudge and start to move past it. So just from me reading that, you obviously can tell and would know that throughout time, as you journal all these feelings and things that you're going through, whatever is happening in your life, it can help you to get through some of the things that you may be experiencing that might be a little bit rough for you at the moment. Maybe you don't really know how to form some of these things into words to explain what's happening or what's going on in the moment. So maybe you would rather jot it down and write it down on paper. And if you want to do that, you definitely can. And I most definitely would recommend for a lot of you to do that rather than always, running to this or that person to tell them what's going on or what's wrong. Journaling it is a safe space to do that, where you don't have to worry about nobody going back and telling what you said or anything of that sort. So as long as you journal everything down on paper, it's safe with you and it won't be put out into the open to nobody else. That's your personal feelings, just for you to have and only for you to know. That's not to share with other people. That's not a good thing to do. Keep it to yourself, keep it personal, keep it private, and just go on about your business. Write a letter, but don't send it is another thing you could do. This classic therapeutic exercise can help you get your anger and resentment out in a healthy way. Consider writing a letter addressed to the person you're holding a grudge against. Don't hold back. Be brutally honest about your feelings. Don't worry, they won't ever read it. After writing this letter, many people feel like a load has been lifted off their minds. Their mere act of getting these feelings out can be just as satisfying as actually sending the letter. To really help put the grudge to rest, destroy the letter, rip it up, bury it, or soak it in water until it disintegrates. As you watch your letter disappear, imagine your grudge is disappearing with it. So it's supposed to be a way to kind of help you release some of these feelings, some of these things that you've been experiencing. It's supposed to help you another way to let go of this grudge. It's supposed to be a way to help you release some of these feelings and these emotions that you're holding against this person. I think that's a good strategy that some of you could use or you could look into that may be helpful for a lot of you. You don't know it until you try it. So definitely try it. Do it for me at least. I might try it for myself, but I'm not really holding on to any grudges at the moment, which is a great thing. So change your perspective because that have a lot to do with it too. Sometimes we get so obsessed with a grudge that we develop a sort of tunnel vision. Even months or years later, we're so committed to our anger that we start to lose perspective. Try to step out of your own feelings for a moment and think about how the other person feels. Did they intentionally hurt you? Does your grudge stem from a pattern of feeling disrespected by this person? Is it possible their intentions were good, even if their actions had negative consequences for you? That is true too, if you think about it. Sometimes people's intentions can be good, even though their actions can explain something else. That is a possibility with some people in certain situations. So never question that too much. But I know people have reasons for questioning a lot of things with people, so I understand that as well. Maybe it really was a one-time mistake. This doesn't help in every circumstance, of course. You're entitled to your feelings and you certainly don't have to let this person back into your life, but it can be helpful to frame the situation in a new light. Try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Another thing you have to do is practice forgiveness. Not forgiving the person who wronged you is the essence of holding a grudge. That's the biggest thing that causes you to hold a grudge against people and a person, is when you don't have any forgiveness for them. If you don't choose to forgive this person for what they did or whatever happened to where they wronged you, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to hold grudges because you don't have no forgiveness for this person. You have not forgiven this person for what they have done to you. So now you're going to hold a bunch of grudges against them. That's not healthy. I don't think that that's a good way to go through life. You have to come to a point where you have to just say to yourself or think to yourself, I'm just going to forgive them. Even if you feel like you don't want to deep down in your heart, but you just know that you do, because if you don't, you're going to go through life holding grudges. And I don't think that is what a lot of you want. So that's a decision that you guys got to come down to for yourself, But if I were you guys, I would definitely start with forgiving people Forgiveness plays a big part in a lot of it. And if you start to have forgiveness for a lot of people, maybe a lot of these grudges and all these emotions and things that you be holding on to that you have against other people, maybe a lot of it will start to die down and kind of release out of you a little bit once you start to forgive people, or maybe talk the situation out. Try to hear both parts of the situation, try to express, feelings on both parts, and just move on and just let the whole thing go. Grudges are so unhealthy, and I don't think people fully understand like all the effects and, things that comes with holding grudges, and how bad it really can come for you if you don't learn to just let some of these things go that you're holding on to, that you have against people. So forgiving doesn't mean you forget what happened. Never that. Or that you've decided it wasn't actually that bad. It simply means that you're choosing to move on, and that's really what it is. But forgiveness isn't always possible in every situation. If you're a survivor of abuse or trauma, the concept of forgiveness can be a complex topic to discuss, which it is, and in that case, it would be different. Forgiveness can be different in certain situations and circumstances, is the best way I'm going to put that. Okay, and now let's recap. So holding grudges is a common human thing. It's okay to be upset, angry, or sad when you feel that someone has hurt you, which it is. That's definitely normal to feel and go through as people. If you're holding a grudge and it's affecting your mental or physical health, you're not alone. You're never alone. And there's always a way you can talk about these things if it's really bothering you. By devoting a little time and effort to letting go of your grudge, you can let go of these painful feelings and start to feel better. Yes, if you need additional help, consider reaching out to a mental health professional. They can provide you with helpful tools to manage your emotions and even resolve conflict if possible. And that always can make your situations a lot better when you have extra helps in hands to help you through whatever the situation is that may be a little bit difficult or hard for you to figure out. Because sometimes with the help of other people, you're able to come to a solution. And I feel like sometimes with a little bit of help, it just makes things a little bit better instead of you trying to figure everything out by yourself, which can cause stress and frustration. And you don't want to stress and frustrate yourself when you can simply just go to somebody for help and have someone to help you out if you need it. But that's only if you come to the realization or feel as though you need that help. Then that's what you got to do, But that's it. I hope you learned something from this topic in this video today. I will catch you guys on the next podcast episode. Thanks for listening, and see you soon.